What's up? Welcome back. It has been a minute,
Been a
y'all. It
while,
has
Anson.
been a minute. It has been a minute. We'll have to talk to Caleb why it's been a minute here in a minute.
Yeah.
But welcome to the unknown with Caleb and Anson,
Hey.
where we talk about life, love, and
Hey.
liberty, and one step closer to the edge. And I'm about to break.
Hey.
I didn't even
You know
need
that.
to see the rest of that title. I
Yeah,
just
you
saw
know it.
like dot dot dot, and I was like, he went with the whole sentence.
You sing it in your head. Like you see it and you sing it in your
You're
head.
like, I'm about to
Maybe out loud.
break.
I'm about to break.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Caleb, how you been?
Well, I've been good, Anson. Yeah, long time no see. I feel like a bad friend,
Wow,
lately. My
wow.
apologies.
It's
I think
okay.
there's plenty of like text thread things that I haven't totally seen yet. I'll fully admit it. But
That's fair. That's
yeah,
fair.
I mean, it's good to be here though.
How so? I know that. I mean, honestly, we've both been busy. I
Oh
started
yeah.
an editing gig that we're trying to figure out our like routine and schedule and all
Nice.
that. And so you are not the only person that just had a full plate and needed
Hey.
to take a minute.
Yep.
So, but
Absolutely.
do you want to tell the people what you got going on with what's been keeping you away?
Yeah, so like this whole last month been building out new video sets basically. So I expanded what is called the video lab, which is my video biz basically. And so a big part of that right now is people coming in to pre-built sets, pre-built video sets to come in and
Nice.
record, video podcasts, YouTube videos, reels, things like that, right? And I decided to move into a boring office building and build sets. Thankfully, um, I have a very supportive wife, Erica, who works a full-time job, by the way, and she spent so much time
Yeah.
like putting blood, sweat, and tears into this place as well. And
Nice.
so grateful to her.
Shout out to
Also,
Erica.
her dad, my father-in-law, spent a lot of time here as well. We did like, I don't know, it felt like, I don't know, over the course of a few days, like we weren't leaving until like 9 p.m., and we got here in the
Jeez.
morning. You know what I mean? So
And you've been doing that for a couple months now, haven't you?
basically the month of May. So the full month of May.
Wow.
And I'm tired, man. Like I'm tired. Oh, and my boys, my two sons, they put in a lot of time too.
Shout out
Painting.
to the two boys.
Yeah, just doing like grunt work, like tearing down boxes, things like that. So yeah, we've been building this out, and we just had it's basically kind of a soft launch, but we had
Nice.
2 shoots in here yesterday. We had one
I
shoot
saw that.
here, then one shoot at the other studio. Like this whole week is booked,
Right.
which is awesome. But it was kind of like this nervous excitement going into Monday yesterday. Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, I was talking to somebody this morning, and I was like, he was like, yeah, I'm available Friday to meet, basically. And I was like, oh, tomorrow? But today's Tuesday, it's not Thursday. But anyway, that's kind of where my mind is right now. But
That's
anyway,
fair.
yeah. Yesterday, I had this nervous excitement, and then we were, done with the day. I went home and I just crashed. I just like laid down in the hammock. I just fell asleep. It was
In the
like,
hammock.
yeah, it was just like all
That's
this
beautiful.
nervous energy that just like came crashing down. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. And so
That's
today is
hard.
kind of the same feel, same vibe. I haven't crashed yet. I'll crash probably when I get home later. But yeah, a lot of time and energy and thoughts. It just like occupies your thought process.
Yeah.
So this is going to be what's considered the content studio where I am right
Mm-hmm.
now. So I'm on one of the new sets right now.
Mm-hmm.
Content studio. There's a lobby, and I'll give you like a tour later on, that type
Sure.
of thing. You can probably check out the channel or Instagram or something like that. I'll give you a tour, but there's a lobby that a mural is going in there right now, which
Nice.
is going to be awesome. Can't wait to show that off. And then there's 3 video sets, a storage room, a big like office area. But then I'm keeping the other studio space that I was in. So
Right.
that is going to become what is called an event studio. And so people who have like workshops, lunch and learns, like all this stuff is like for thought leadership people that,
Okay.
business owners, industry experts, they all come in here and they like record content. So event studio kind of makes sense because they'd be doing like workshops and things like that as well. So, and then they
Right.
get the video piece to it. They're going to have in person. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And I'm excited. Anson, how are you doing?
I'm good. I have more questions.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
for those that are maybe new to the podcast,
Yeah, jump in the
this
chat.
is
Please say hi.
well, yes, one. Oh my God, freaking Max. One, this is your second location. You mentioned that a little bit with the event space. So this is your second location,
Yes.
which is dope. You're not even, you're like a year and a half into this kind of business model.
Yes. Yeah. When I rebranded, I gave myself 2 years to kind of figure it out. So I'm about a year and a half in. Yeah.
And so in a year and a half, you are in a place where you're opening a second location.
Kind of
That's
crazy.
dope.
Kind of
That's
crazy.
dope, dude. Now, so here's a question I have
Yeah. Yes,
is
please.
do you think you're seeing a lot of success with the Video Lab because of it's not like something that you have is not readily available in your area and you're kind of like a niche
I think it is.
or okay.
Yeah. I think it's a few things actually. I think
Okay.
it's just ease of use. Like it's an
Sure.
easy way to make content.
Yep.
It's fairly, in the big scheme of things, it's a fairly inexpensive way to make a bunch of video content
Yeah.
if you don't need the editing. The editing adds
Sure.
up. But yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I think people just see the value in just coming in to record and walking away with your files,
Yeah.
maybe sending it to a remote editor or something.
It's
And
funny. We were this will kind of play into a little bit of our conversation later, but we were at a networking event
Hey.
and there was somebody that ran a podcast,
Yeah.
and I run a financial technology podcast, and one of the things that me and Jess, my lead photographer or the person I work with, want to do is open a studio for general purpose use, but also podcast recording, things like that. We
Yeah.
do need to talk because there may be an
Yes.
update. It may not, we have to talk.
Okay.
Anyways,
Off air or on air?
probably off air.
Oh,
Don't let this, anyway. Um,
now I need to know.
um, but, but, long story short, the person was like, I want to do a season two. It's apparently a decently successful. She has a lot of traction on TikTok, but is not getting
Okay.
a ton of traction on YouTube. And was like, people want more episodes and I want to do another season, but it's just a lot.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, this is what we're trying to do. Like, we're
Yeah.
trying to basically
Yeah, dude.
take what I'm doing or what I was doing for my CEO in my last company, and now we've kind of partnered with this financial technology podcast, where I'm just showing up to produce it,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And even to the point where, like, as JWP, our photography studio or photography videography studio, we want to offer it as an offering. Like, we come to your location, we help you shoot a podcast, but then also we have a studio and we're kind of working out the details of that for people kind of similar, come do a podcast, come, rent the studio to do photography, come rent the studio to do content creation, things like that. All that to say, it's wild to think about how many people, because like you and I, we know the world of content creation where it is you just sit down and record, right?
Yeah.
But
Totally.
like for a lot of people, there's that barrier
Oh yeah.
of I want to get out of the way mentally of having to actually run the camera, do all the things that they will pay money.
Yes.
And I asked the woman, I was like, hey, just doing some market research. how much would you pay for this service? And she threw out a number. I was like, okay, I probably wouldn't charge that, but yes. And so, but that said, like, it's crazy to think about. Before I knew what you were doing with the video lab, and before, talking to different people, I would have never thought like
Hmm.
this is a way of a revenue stream
Yeah.
of producing podcasts and things of that nature. So
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a interesting niche, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
um, I don't, people are finding it. What I want to do is like, I kind of want to be, I tell a lot of people this, I want to be like a regional hub. I
yeah,
want a 3 hour radius. So I want people
okay,
driving 3 hours just to come record here. Spend the
really
day, record here. I
nice
have people driving an hour already.
right now.
So I just need 2 more hours, right? And
Yeah,
there's some big, like where we live, there's some big like metro areas in the
yeah.
3 hour realm.
And as soon
So,
as like when you hit those, dude, that will pop off.
and then once it's 3 hours, then I want
Hmm.
to put a video lab maybe in that city or put a
Yeah.
video lab. And then it's like, then another 3 hour radius or the other direction or something. You know what I
I
mean?
love your like business acumen, so to
Well,
speak.
yeah, I don't know. I have a lot going on up here, but it doesn't always like translate to
Well,
money.
isn't that what you have Erica for, to help make it make
Yes.
sense?
Yes. And like she is fully on board for this
That's
ride.
awesome.
You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
So like
That is something that not enough people talk about,
mm,
is having a supportive spouse. Um, and because like Savannah's the same way. She's like, look, you hold the finance, like you run the finances in our family. You know what we can and cannot do. Don't make us homeless. Like, I was like, okay, all right.
yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah. Sweet.
We'll see how it goes. That's awesome, dude. I'm proud of you. I'm proud. I'm happy for you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and I have a goal for like in the studio, and it's going to change a little bit. Like the event studio is now back to an empty shell, which that space needs to be an empty shell because I
Sure.
did have it like it was when I first moved in last June, like a year ago actually. A year ago I moved into that spot. Um what was I going to say? It started off as a shell, right? Like
Yeah.
a big shell. But then after Christmas I divided it up to build these content sets, these video sets, and the room cannot be that. That's why I had to find like an office. And so remember when we were in Vegas,
Yeah.
the day that we got back to town here off our flight, we stepped off the flight, got in the van, came and toured this building.
Yeah. I
And
remember that.
yeah, and found this spot, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And like it was like, okay, this is probably the direction this needs to go. A boring office building, and then
Yeah.
you make it cool inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of I don't know. I want to put a little playbook together, like put a system thing together. We'll see what happens. But I want it to be replicable in other spots. Is
That's
basically
awesome.
what it comes down to. So yeah, I just need to keep creating awareness is the biggest thing for me. Create awareness, network. I'm going to a networking meeting tomorrow morning. And then it's kind of cool because here's the thing. You ready for this? Here's the
Let's do
cool
it.
thing about video podcasts and doing that type of content in studio like this, because each client that you have, they bring in their guests, right?
Yes.
So every time somebody walks in, they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
this place is sweet.
Yep.
And then they're like, wheels are turning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wheels are turning. They might know somebody that is looking to make videos. They just, haven't had the opportunity or haven't
They don't know where to start.
they don't know where to start. And
Yep.
this is like an easy, low barrier to entry form of video content where it's like talking head stuff
Yep.
like this, easy, conversational, right? Conversational. It's educational, teach what you know, that type of thing. And so they see the ease in it. And so each one of those guests that come in is an opportunity to kind of expand out. So I'm probably gaining maybe like 2 clients a month.
Really, because just from
Just by
networking.
Yep.
I mean, if
I
I'm
try to
honest, like the podcast that I run is all online. Like all the guests, we don't have a
Yeah,
studio
virtual.
necessarily right now for the guests to come.
Yep.
I think we want to get there, but even that, like we'll have people that are like, "Oh, we like the look of your podcast."
Yeah, totally.
People are asking my old boss like, "Hey, can your guy come do our podcast?" And I'm like, "Sure, let's
Yeah.
pay the bills,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
But that's awesome. Well, Caleb, that kind of segues into a little bit of our conversation for the day.
Hey. Yeah.
Because every biz needs an audio podcast. They
Yeah,
just
there
don't
she
know it
is.
yet.
There's
There
Megan.
she is. There she
Yeah.
is. Sorry. Oh, that's
Yeah,
obnoxiously
every
high.
business does need a video podcast, and I do preach that. And there's others here around here that preach that too, and it's very common because it's a great form of storytelling, right?
Yep.
It's a great it's a secret weapon. Can I say weapon on this? It's a secret weapon when it comes to networking.
Yeah.
Okay? Like if you're watching this, the 3 people that are watching right now, if you have a business, do a video podcast, or maybe a personal brand, do a video podcast, because that is like the best networking opportunity that you can do, because you might be able
Yep.
to get some high profile guests on your podcast that you wouldn't necessarily be able to go and have coffee with. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You wouldn't get that coffee meeting. But
Right.
if you can like provide content for that guest and let them share their expertise, boom, networking opportunity. It's perfect.
Dude, this is what I'm learning, and this is kind of like playing also a little bit into like what's going on in my life. I literally just had somebody ask me. We were talking about some gear announcements and things like that. And he was like, how's freelance life going?" I was like, "Slowly but surely.
Yep.
We're booking. It's just I wish it was at a faster pace."
Yeah.
I mean, I am very thankful in the fact that like in the first month of basically running my own stuff, I don't have to dip into my severance all that much,
Love it.
which is nice.
Yeah.
It's encouraging.
That's awesome.
But a part of it is I'm learning, when I came on board with Jessica, we kind of had the understanding that like her website has amazing SEO. It's super established. People are coming to her website requesting. And so we've been able to just kind of like rely on her presence that way to
Yeah.
get bookings. But with it being a little slower than I would like, I was like, you know what? No, let's roll up some sleeves and get out there. And a part of it goes into what we want to talk about is like, how are we getting leads? How are we getting clients? Some of the stuff right now for me, I can say are leads. I think they're more classified as leads. I do have
Yeah.
clients. We have very satisfied clients, which I'm proud to say.
Love it.
And so, but that's where the conversation is like, what are our methods, and what are some methods that we've seen kind of helps maybe a new freelance, maybe a new business, new studio, to build up that clientele and build up those leads. And I can say like, just in the little bit of time I've been doing this, like I know, and you're saying like networking is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to go out and talk to someone.
Yeah.
Like
totally. Yep.
it's insane. The company is in our local chamber, and we go to chamber events, and even we'll go with like our cameras and just like take pictures of the event
Oh,
and
yeah.
give it to the chamber, just used
Yeah.
for their socials.
That's good. Nice of you.
And it's a way for us to get our name out there. It's a way for us to, have a presence. So we had this one this past week, and it's great because like you don't often think about like there's not many scenarios where you're like, you know what, you could use a video. I mean, maybe you do, but like I'm not in Target being like, you could use a video and just like go up to somebody random. But when you're at a networking event, there's legit like, hey, what do you do? Oh, I do this XYZ. And you're like, that would be a great brand story.
Yeah, totally.
Let's talk about it more. Um,
I'll get into this a little bit. No
Coffee
cap.
shop hours. I have thoughts on that as well. So Caleb, what's some of your experience with like we'll kind of stay in the realm right now for networking, but
Okay.
what's some of the things that you do network wise?
Networking. Okay. So there is okay, so first of all, what Erica said there, coffee shop office hours.
Mm-hmm.
Um here's what I do. I try to always show up,
Yes.
basically.
Always be seen.
Yeah, always be seen. Always show up. And that's in a few different ways.
Yeah.
First of all, online content, right?
Yep.
Always showing up, online content. I go to a bakery coffee shop and I try to work there almost every Friday morning, if not a few times a week,
Sure.
and just be present there because a lot of conversations just happen there.
Yeah.
And you meet people, you get introduced to other people from different people that you know that introduce you to other people that has led to business.
Yeah.
So just like consistently showing up. I think consistency is like one of the biggest things when it comes to networking. All right.
Yeah.
Consistency. Be present, show up, and act like the freaking expert. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anson, you're the expert in video content photography.
Yeah.
Like, act like it. You know,
Yep.
don't be like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I do some videos. That's how I used to be. I used to
No.
be that way.
Yeah.
But it's now I'm getting a little bit more into like, no, here's how it is, and like, um, this is this like we have these pre-built sets. If you don't want it, that's totally fine. Like we can do other stuff, but here's an easy way to get into video. Then we can like build up different packages to like bigger productions and things like that. But yeah, I think when it comes down to it, always showing up. There's also this other thing in town. It's called Startup Sioux Falls, which is it's kind of like for startups, entrepreneurs. They can office there. There's different like programs that startup businesses that can go through, and I do a lot of stuff there. Like tomorrow morning, there's like a breakfast thing there, so startup sunrise, and so just like consistently showing up to something like that as well, and just being involved in those different things is like that's what it comes down to: consistency and always being present. And then there's also like networking meetings that you can go to. I don't do a whole lot of those. I used to. When I first started, I went to like this BNI group. It was great. I got like 80% of my business from it, right? But it was also expensive and very time consuming. And I was in it for about 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
So, but there's different groups like that. But I just found like it's honestly like it's great just going and hanging out. And then from those networking opportunities, then like you start getting invited, like hanging out at Startup Sioux Falls, for example. They invited me to come to and be a speaker for Startup Sunrise.
Nice.
In the subject of marketing.
Nice.
Like, I'm not really even in marketing. I am.
Right.
I'm in more in the content creation side of it, but now there's like speaking opportunities coming from it because like you're showing up and providing your expertise. Yeah, I want to know this. What about the chamber? I was thinking about joining the chamber.
So chamber is, I've heard a mixed bag. It depends on your chamber. Where we are in Wake Forest, we have a really good chamber. There's not a ton of photographers in the chamber. But basically what the chamber is designed to do is it's a built-in network, so to speak. And so I think there is a membership fee associated with it. But they'll do like, they'll do meetings where, people will come and just talk about, like literally what we did this past week is we went and like, we were at an old bank, and someone will sponsor that specific get together. They'll, get coffee, they'll get breakfast, they'll put it out, and then people just mingle and meet people, get to see like what people are doing. And sometimes, especially for photography, videography, it's a mixed bag of if we're going to get any leads out of it. But I mean, and it's sometimes out of the box too, because like, for example, this past time we met, what did he do? It was like some sort of insurance. You know, they may not need a brand story, but their kid needs senior portraits.
Yep.
And so we're able to say, okay, cool. Hey, we do that too. Or there was a real estate person there. We don't do a ton of real estate, but we're like, hey, we'll put some stuff together and send it over to you. Like,
Totally.
and you know, see if that works. It's just a way, again, to be present.
Yeah.
Kind of along those lines. You know, you talk about coffee shop hours.
Yeah.
We are a part of a co-working space.
Nice.
So we will, you know, we see a lot of the same people every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of the times we're known as the photography, videography people. And so if they have a need, I think I literally had someone like last month, be like, hey, would you ever be interested in like helping us make like marketing, like content or just like, social media content? I'm like, yeah,
Are you
absolutely. Let's
interested in
talk.
paying me to do it?
Yes.
That'll be
I did say we'll charge a little bit.
a little bit. Yep. That works too.
So, but through that, like I will say the one thing I do like about the coffee shop approach is it's not the same people all the time.
Yeah,
Whereas with
totally.
co-working, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have new people join here and there, but for the most part, it's the same people. But generally the same concept, right? Like,
Yeah.
be seen, be present.
And can I add something to the coffee shop thing?
Yeah.
Be choosy about the coffee shop that you go to as well, because
Oh yeah.
there are different levels of coffee shop
Yes.
if we get down to it. Hang out at the coffee shop where the people with the money are hanging out.
So you may have to go to Starbucks every once in a while.
Well, I mean, you do have to draw a line, and that line is Starbucks. But
I mean,
be
that's
choosy,
fair.
Be choosy about sometimes the coffee shops that you hang out at.
It's hard for the coffee shops here, right?
Is it?
Because we are in a seminary town. And
Oh,
so
yeah,
a
we
lot of people are
could.
seminary students.
Interesting. Yeah.
They're not
They don't
business
have money.
entrepreneurs.
No.
No, they do not. Now there may be some here and there, but for the
Yeah.
most part, you're getting a lot of the students.
Seminary.
And so I think if we were to do coffee, we would have to probably go like downtown
Yeah.
Raleigh to
How
the
far
big
is that?
city. Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But
Not too bad.
and honestly, like that's talking about networking. That's one reason. Like, so this financial podcast that I run, I've been asked several times since I've left the company, because originally it started with my previous company, and since I left the company, they've been like, "Are you getting paid for it now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm doing this pro bono." And one big reason is because my CEO brings a very large network.
Yeah. Right.
And while it may not be a immediate financial profit, there's potential there. There
Yeah,
is a way to get my foot in the door. Even down to like, if he has people that want podcasts produced, want content produced, he knows where to go to. And we've worked together for years now. And so I wasn't ready to let go of that network / the podcast. I actually
Yeah,
don't.
totally.
I actually like the podcast, but
Yeah. Sweet.
okay. So we've got networking, we've got
Yeah,
coffee
whatever.
hours.
What other
What
ways are you finding
what?
clients?
What's that?
What other ways are you finding clients?
I mean, social media is a huge one.
Yep.
But that kind of rolls into being present. You know, one thing that I want to get into, and I was talking with someone the other day about doing freelance, or in my freelance side of things, doing hitting up tattoo shops.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I have a little bit of experience with the shop here in Raleigh, going to other shops and being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And this is what I'd like to do for you. Come in, pay a certain amount, let me photograph like if you guys know you have a good piece or a couple good pieces that day,
Mhm.
let me come in, photograph the progress, photograph and film all the things involved. And that way, even if it's not what you do on a regular basis, you can share it with social media, and it can have that little bit of production quality to it.
There are a lot of tattoo shops in Seminary Town.
There's a lot of tattoo shops in the Triangle, 1000%. You
Nice.
could throw a rock and hit a tattoo shop, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
All right.
It's
All
not
right.
as bad as like in my side of the town. To be fair, in my side of the town where it's a seminary, there's none in Wake Forest, but there like are little small towns
Yeah.
that surround us. There are
Gotcha.
some.
Yeah. Sweet.
So actually, there's one right next door to the studio that we have right
Oh,
now.
nice.
So
Yeah. Is that the one you normally shoot at?
the studio that I shoot my YouTube stuff at.
Yeah. Is that the tattoo shop?
Yeah, they were
Are
right
you?
next door.
Yeah. That's the one
Yeah.
you make content for?
No,
Oh,
that one's like on the other side of town.
okay.
And I may be approaching in like the next like couple of weeks, being like, hey, let's
Yep.
monetize this because driving out here is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Well, here's what I like about that, Anson. Like, you can, if you go to like other towns, be like, hey, I'm coming to your town. I'm coming to Charlotte,
Yeah,
North Kakalaka.
I love that you know my geography.
Yeah. And dude, I'm a geography buff,
I
man.
know we've talked
I
about
love
this.
it. I love geography.
We've talked about
Anyway,
this.
side note. And be like, hey, I'm coming to your town. You know, here's my portfolio. Like, I'm gonna be there for an extra day. You can hit up like 4 tattoo shops.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And then, hey, I'm coming to Austin, Texas. Tattoos.
Tattoos. So the reason I brought it up, one, is talking about social media, because I was like, dude, I don't know how I get this off the ground. And he was like, you should just make an Instagram of just like whatever you want to call it, like Anson and Co. Inc., whatever it is. Like,
Hey.
just make a social, just make an Instagram that's dedicated to that. And then
Yep.
just, I mean, honestly, from there, like cold call.
Yeah.
Like that's, so actually that may be something else to talk about as far as another way. Do you do much cold calling?
Okay, so here's what I do when it comes to that right now, but I might pick up a little bit more. I LinkedIn.
Okay.
So if you are a video or photo professional like Anson, and if you are not on LinkedIn, you are making a big mistake.
Yeah.
You need to get on LinkedIn. You need to start making content on LinkedIn. And
I need to
then,
make more content on LinkedIn for sure.
then you need to engage with other people's posts. And here's what I do on LinkedIn. I kind of follow for a little bit some people's posts. And then I'm like getting to their I like kind of track it a little bit, and then I DM them and I'm like, hey, you know, I saw this post that you just did. Like, you seem like you really know what you're talking about. Have you ever
Yeah.
thought about doing a podcast? Like, these are like some great like thoughts and leadership that you're showing. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast and like talking about this on camera or anything like that? And so I've had several like studio tours and a couple clients from doing that.
Dude, I'm literally writing this down right now. That's brilliant.
Yeah, just be like, hey, I came across your post about whatever, you know, and I thought it was like it really like sparked something. And then I got to thinking like, hey, are you making more content on this? Have you ever thought about making this into a podcast and just talking about this more and like interviewing other people about this, you know? And a lot of times like the people that I'm targeting are kind of in like a leadership role. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
kind of already leaders. They're already making a little bit more content, but then it's like kind of the next step, you know?
Yeah.
And also from LinkedIn, I've also gotten business just from what I've posted, just my own content.
Really?
Yeah. So like people have seen, you know, what I've been doing, especially with the studio and all that. And now like they've been coming in for the last however many months, you know?
That's awesome. I've never thought about like following people's posts, because that makes total sense. Even in a brand story scenario, like,
Yeah, totally.
if you're not trying to do podcasts as a freelance videographer, and you're trying to figure out what your niche is or what to do, like, you know, even if off of somebody's post, yeah, you can get a good testimonial, a good,
Oh yeah.
hey, this is why we do what we do. This is why I think this way. This is why, I was actually on a podcast 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about this skill set, not really a skill set, but it's more of like character trait of being able to empathize with your clients, being able to say, hey, like, I see that you have an idea. I see you're passionate about that idea. Let's turn that idea into content.
Hmm.
And having that empathy and having that approach of like, let's do this, let's pull this story out, let's kind of like take it, finesse it, and
Yeah.
put it into something that you can generate business, because people are seeing the passion for what you do and what you make.
Hmm.
But then also that does you a good job, because you're now seen as that person that is able to work with people.
Yeah.
It was funny in that conversation we were talking about like the difference between like people that have that people skill that do video work, and then you have like guns for hire, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Right.
Like, they're just going to show up and film. I have a friend that did testimonials, and I will, redact the parties involved. But I had a friend that did some testimonials, and I think the crew just kind of came and did a whole production. And they are going to be working with me
Yeah.
because they don't want that.
Yeah. Right.
Like, they don't want that. They know that I can probably give them what they need at the cost that they probably more reasonably need it.
Mhm.
I can meet them where they are. I can,
Be friendly.
fill that niche that they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's sorry, my tangent or my rabbit hole, so to speak, of having empathy and being an empathetic person as a content creator, as a creator in general.
And I have leaned into just content creation a little bit as well. Of like,
Yeah.
I want you to think like a content create, like with your content. If you're coming in, and I think this is why maybe the studio is kind of working too, is like think like a content creator and not like an agency, basically, because like content creation is like consistency, right?
Yep.
We went through this, always showing up,
Yep.
like not just one piece of content that you reuse, but like multiple pieces. And then also like experimenting with content a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in content creation, you experiment a little bit more, which I understand people don't always have the budgets to experiment with, but like
for sure.
once you find something, then like you double down on it, right? All the time.
Yep.
And like you kind of just go with it. Like if you find a thumbnail style, you just go with it. And so
Yeah.
like these are some of the things that we learn in creating content, creating YouTube videos, like you know.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
been creating very many lately, but you have. And like we kind of learn these things. So I've been leaning into that a little bit more as well, as trying to kind of like establish myself as like an expert in the industry and
Yep.
things like that, and just kind of leaning into some of those things that I think people find, they're like, oh yeah, like I've given 2 presentations so far, and I think I'm giving another one here in the future about what I call lo-fi video. And so like just doing a little bit of research in like content creation, video content creation, and now what I'm trying to like teach others in this one realm is like what I call lo-fi video, which L stands for, and I see the like other people, and this is specifically for like thought leaders and like educators, not like in the teaching system, but like people that want to educate about their industry, that type of thing. It was like, a lot of the thought leaders and like business coaches and everything, they're doing like a lot of lo-fi video. And so the L stands for limited editing, or less is more. right? So limited editing, like just maybe a little bit of text. That doesn't have to be super flashy, right?
Yeah.
And there's an actual formula that I'll give you. I'm going to give you this whole presentation right now. The second one is O, right? For lo-fi. O is like, what's your basically organic, it stands for organic. What's your organic way of teaching? Like you personally, how do you teach? If it's with a whiteboard, teach that way. Like if you like sitting down and just making this, if you like walking around, go walk and make a video while you walk, like that kind of thing. How do you teach? The F stands for familiar. So what's your audience familiar with, right?
Sure.
So like, how are they familiar with learning? Like if it's the 40 plus crowd, which a lot of what I do with the video lab is like 40 plus.
Sure.
Then it's like, well, we grew up like with chalkboards, right? And whiteboards. And so that's how we're familiar learning, maybe PowerPoint presentations, that type of video. And then this last piece is interactive. How can you make your videos interactive? And so there's actually a formula that I put together. It's L, ready? L plus either O or F. Okay, so you can have either one of those. Wait, here, let me get this in here. So L, either O or F plus I.
What's I again?
Interactive.
Okay.
So like make it interactive. Like maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's, I keep going back to this, but maybe it's you writing on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
And it kind of creates natural hooks throughout your video anyway, like natural hooks of like people are wondering what you're writing. And so the retention levels go up, right? So it's kind of like that piece of it. So that's the formula for like, for this style of content. It's like highly effective video content. And so I've been giving that presentation a couple times. I'm going to be giving it again here in the near future to another group. And so it's like you present it and then somebody else hears it and then they want it. And then then this group. And so it's just like kind of like
a pyramid scheme.
Is my audio cutting out?
No, a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, pyramid scheme. I'm creating a pyramid scheme. That's what I'm doing.
Dude, I'm over here like fascinated with like everything you're saying because I'm like, you in and of yourself are a thought leader for like video content and content in general. Like,
but I'm not a cinematic shooter. Well, that got weird.
What does that have to do with it? Doesn't have anything to do with it. We've talked about this. You're an excellent documentarian. You don't need to.
I do. That's my style of shooting. Is like document, like document it, basically. Yeah. So like
I don't need to be a cinematic shooter.
I'd be a great behind the scenes shooter.
Which is funny because I love doing behind the scenes. Because it's like low entry. It's not low entry. Let me get that right. It's low pressure. You lose some footage on behind the scenes. Yeah. No one's really that angry.
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
You have a drone that won't take off because you're in a restricted area. Yeah. They might get a little angry. Yeah, which happened. That was terrible.
Might need to get that.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Like, so you're legit giving presentations, and I love that. Like, because you're also doing this in your town where you're like leading the charge of people creating content and like as a resource. And Caleb, why are you not making videos on this? Why is your channel not this?
Well, here's the thing. Like I want to make the Video Lab channel probably more of this and make it more a little bit more product based. Like I'm fine. Like I'm getting back into a groove. All right. Like I'm going to get back into a groove of making like Lumix content. It's just this last month has just been like crazy, So like I do want to keep making that content. I just want to keep talking and educating about the cameras. I love doing that and I love that community. But when it comes to this, like I'm probably going to be posting more to the Video Lab channel.
Yeah.
On some of that stuff.
Which you should.
Yeah, right.
It makes sense.
Yeah, we will. We'll get there. The videolab.online.
Is that the web URL?
That's the URL and the YouTube channel.
Videolab.online?
Yeah, I think.
.com or just .online?
.online. The Video Lab .online.
We actually turned down a studio name because we didn't have the .com. And
that's good. I wish I had the .com. It's also the videolabsf.com. SF
for Sioux Falls.
For Sioux Falls, not San Francisco, which there is a little bit of confusion.
Not to be confused with Sioux Falls, North Dakota either.
Oh, don't turn this stream off. You know it.
I love inciting your violent thoughts.
We're definitely not California, being in South Dakota. We're definitely not California. I don't think a lot of South Dakotans like California. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll see. After I say that, with the 4 people watching.
I think 2 of them, one's Erica, one's me.
One's me.
One's probably you. So the one stranger that is watching.
Hey, make sure you leave a comment. And say
I mean, honestly, this, I don't want to toot our horns. This is conversations that every aspiring freelance videographer, photographer should be listening to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because
if you're looking to get into it.
Like, it's not, you don't just show up with a camera and it works.
I think a lot of us want to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be great, but there's another side to it.
There's a grind side to it for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, I tell Jess all the time, it was interesting. We had the conversation I don't want to give away too much, but basically like our cosmetologist. So we have an in-house cosmetologist.
Nice.
So if we do weddings or all the things you need a cosmetologist for.
Yeah. Beard care.
Beard care. I have a thought about going back to rebranding. I have a thought.
Yes.
And we'll have to talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Finish your thought, your first thought. Move on to your second thought.
But she doesn't do it full time now, and she wants to get back into doing it. We're actually going to try to help her build up the brand here in North Carolina because she came from New Jersey.
Okay.
So like we are kind of like we're a conglomerate basically. We're actually talking about creating a parent company and having JWP be in that subsidiary, have her brand being the subsidiary. I don't know if Anson and Co. will be, but maybe. And then also the studio, which is something I probably need to talk to you about. But the cosmetologist was very hesitant to, go in to do it again because basically she had, long story short, I'm making a long story, but her friend stole all of her clients and like ran away with the business in New Jersey. And so she's very gun shy. Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow.
So Jess was like, you're not going to steal my clients, are you? And I was like, Jess, look, one, I realized what partnering with you has helped me do, because otherwise I would be just a videographer unemployed. Like I wouldn't have clients. I wouldn't have shoots. Yeah, I wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
And so know that I'm not going to just run away with this because I appreciate what partnering with you has done. So that's a whole nother point I want to make too, as far as getting clientele and things like that. But then I was like, Jess, we've been friends for a long time and I'm investing into JWP for years, just not financially.
Yep.
Or not being financially rewarded. I've been doing BTS. I've been I'm pretty sure I taught Jess how to do photography.
Hey, let's go.
All the different things.
Yeah.
There's always thought there, but all that said, yes, you cannot just show up with a camera. It takes grind. It takes there is that grind side of it. So these are things I hope people watch. And I know we joke we have one stranger watching, maybe not any right now.
Maybe 2 now.
Oh yes.
Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
It does kind of depend too of what type of production you want to get into as well. A little bit.
Yes.
Do you actually want to run a video business?
Sure.
Or do you want to be somebody like a DP that you show up on other productions? There's
is a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. We're just kind of right now just kind of discussing the whole just freelance world in general. And we could definitely get into more specifics later on. for me personally, I like the business side of things. Like I would love for somebody else to like on my team to show up and shoot, and I get to work with the client or like and kind of build up whatever content
Yeah.
relationships. What
Yeah.
I'll like, I'd love to go out and sell. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just be like, hey, yeah, I mean, come into the studio and we can have a month worth of content for you in an hour. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, let's work together to do this. And so I
I
don't know.
think
I like
that's
that side of things personally, but
yeah.
you know, other
But
people want to show up.
that requires to have a successful freelance photography, videography business. It requires at least one brain that works that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm probably more of the cold call type person where that's saying a lot because I'm not normally, but like I think sometimes I am more than Jess is. Like she wouldn't want to go into a shop and be like, let's do a brand story.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we'll see.
Yep.
But like you have to have a business brain. Otherwise, you're a starving artist. Like that's the difference between a starving artist and a successful video photography business. Is you have to understand business, which is one reason why I joke about how I taught Jess how to do photography because the courses that she was taking were all the business courses.
Yeah. I wish I would have taken those, honestly.
Yeah, and like she was like watching people not how to be a better photographer, but how to be a better photography business.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. All right, you've got that side of it. Let me help you with the artistic side of it, and then let's make something of this. And so, not to say that I helped make any of JWP. She's done that all on her own and has excelled at it. And I'm just hitching my wagon to it right now. But that being said, I think that is worth noting, and I think something that I can probably speak to specifically is another part of getting clientele is networking with other creatives that need your services. Right? It's not just networking with potential clients. It's networking with other photographers, videographers that may need your services.
Totally.
I don't really have a lot of net new clients that don't exist in the JWP stratosphere somewhere. If it wasn't for me if it wasn't for me partnering with her, I would just be collecting unemployment and, being like, I don't know what I'm doing in the fall. We'll see, but now I have a little bit of like, okay, we have clientele, we have this, we have that. And she's pitching me even more whenever we're going through and, people are emailing her. It's like, hey, we offer video now. Would you be interested in XYZ? Find a photographer, because photography is one of those things. I can guarantee you every photographer in your town wants someone to help them with video.
Yep.
I can guarantee you that. I can't tell you how many of my friends that are in the photography business that at one point has asked me to come help them because they need a video person. Unfortunately, like I think photography, videography is getting to a point where like you have to offer both to really, unless you have like an established business,
right? You
kind of have to offer both.
Yeah.
And so like if you're not a photographer, go find one. If you're not a videographer, if you're not a photographer, go. Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Find a photographer, videographer to partner with to see if they can use your services.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And then like one of the things I say is like collaboration over competition. Like collaborate. It's good for the soul. You'll spend way more energy and negative thoughts on competition than on collaboration. I mean,
I feel like photographers in our area are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, right.
And they vary, right? Like they vary in skill sets, they vary in what they offer. And it's all about like knowing what you can bring to the table.
Totally.
But everyone needs video. Everyone needs media of some sort, whether it's video or photography. Everyone needs it. And so we all have a piece of a pie. There's no reason to say, oh, I'm not going to share leads with this other company because they're going to take my business. that we've gotten leads from other video companies that are like, we can't do this project, or we're not interested in this project. Are you? I've gotten projects because Jess herself has been like, I'm not interested in this, or I don't have the time. Do you want to take it? And I'm like, sure, it's money. Let's
Yep.
go.
Yeah.
And so
Money.
competition's dumb. I think at some points there's a natural competition, but don't make it worse than it is.
And one of the things I do here is like content jam sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just people who make content get together, photos
Yep.
and video. It's kind of sparse right now, but on Instagram, I think the group is like 30 some people.
That's
Just
awesome.
Instagram group. And then we try to get together once a month. One person.
Is that all like people that are doing like online social media? Or do
Yeah.
how are they like content
it's
creators?
Yeah, it's like creators, like, they might be part of like an internal marketing team at a
Fair.
company, or they might
They
be
just wanna,
freelance.
like,
They might be
yeah.
freelance. They might be just making content for Instagram or as kind of a hobby or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, whoever, like, whether you shoot with a iPhone, shoot with an iPhone, shoot with a Canon, Sony, and it doesn't matter. Just come hang out. It's more of like just an opportunity to hang out than anything.
Yeah.
So
I hear that. I feel that.
this last month, one person came, but Brian, if you're watching, I do appreciate you. It was great hanging out.
That would have been the most socially uncomfortable situation for me. One-on-ones terrify me.
Oh yeah, no, we hung out.
Nice. That's awesome.
He
That's
had
awesome.
the YouTube channel. He lived out of his Tesla for a while. And he's making some financial content right now. He's doing
Nice.
a good job. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. Does he record in the studio too?
No, he does not. He records on his own. He records with his phone, makes content with his phone.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Does a great job. I think, I'm not totally sure, but he might be around the 10K sub count, somewhere in there.
Top 2%.
Yeah, top 2%. That's right.
It's funny. We were talking about that this past week, and I was like, Jess, you need to tell people that I have a successful YouTube channel, because she's like, he does YouTube, and she said, I don't know how to say that because everyone has a YouTube, but like he's actually got a following. I don't know how to say this. I was like, just say that I have a successful channel.
Yeah.
Yes, it's only 17,000, but I'm still on the top 2 percentile.
Man, 17 is awesome.
I know. It's so slow right now.
Well, embrace it,
so
man.
Slow. I know.
It's awesome.
Thank you. We've had good discussion. I like this discussion. This is a good one.
Yeah, we've really stayed on topic this time, Anson.
Dude, we never stay on topic.
I feel like for a solid, 57 minutes.
Yeah.
We have stayed on topic. Congratulations.
And some of it has been, we haven't had anybody chat, and so
that is true. Yeah.
But unlike that one episode where we had nobody chatting and we didn't stay on topic, this is rewatchable.
Erica has been in the chat.
Erica has been in the chat. I appreciate that. Is she still at the studio, or did she go home?
No, she went home. Yep.
So are you hiring another assistant for this studio?
No. So Rihanna, who's the studio assistant, she will primarily probably be here at this place. If things at the event studio kind of work out, hopefully it does. We'll see what that looks like for more hires in the future. Oh, hey. Yeah, Azrael.
Azrael has 100 subs. Hell yeah.
Send him a message on Instagram saying congrats.
Did he hit 100? I didn't see this.
Yeah, he hit 100 subs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Good job, Azrael.
Good job. If you're watching this after the fact, good job.
We hung out in Vegas.
Yes, we did. Yes, sir. He made his drinks. It was great.
It's good
Those
time.
Are delicious.
I wasn't there for that.
You weren't there for the... Oh, man. They were so good.
Next year, maybe.
Yeah. We're going to have to make it a yearly event now, going to maybe.
Probably will have to be.
I don't know. You should go to Build in like 2 weeks.
Oh, build. Mm.
Have you been getting emails for that?
Yeah, I got an email from it.
I
B&H,
got
right?
business cards made for Build.
Whoa. QR code or no?
No.
Just info.
Um, well, the reason for it is like talking about networking.
Hey.
Um, the you because you're at a convention, you only have a certain amount of time to talk to these people.
Yep.
Conventions notoriously have terrible internet.
Yeah.
And so like doing a QR code, being like, "Oh, this is my YouTube channel," and they're like, okay," and they
Oh,
can't get
yeah.
to it.
Loading.
So I've just got these business, like they're like little rectangular business cards. They come in this weekend. They have they're got this like I tried to be artsy with it. Like I made
Hey.
these like TV static background with my logo
Wow.
on one side, and
Oh,
you flip it
crap.
over, and it's just my Instagram and YouTube handle, and
Wow.
that's it. Very minimalist. And that way I can go, here's my channel. Let's talk. Let's get together, collaborate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I need to do a better job at that at NAB next
yes,
year. I'll do a
yeah.
better job at that.
Well,
Um,
you were primarily focused on the studios at
I
NAB
was. Yeah, I
and the
was.
Black Magic one. Did you
Yeah.
ever get anything from that Black Magic conversation?
Uh, Not really. I think yeah, I don't think anything's happening there
Fair.
that I know of. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah,
I know you're excited about that one.
I was excited. I don't think things are going to work out with that one, but we'll see.
It sounds like a bad breakup.
It does. I was kind of hoping like I don't I don't know. I was just debating like what type of cameras to use,
Sure.
But then like Rode comes out with this video caster, and so like then it doesn't really matter really what camera you're using because, I might put that in. We'll see.
What does that do?
Okay, so it's like a video switcher, right? Like the
Yeah.
8 minis,
Yeah.
but then also the, like the Rodecaster Pros.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like those two things mashed together into one.
Rodecaster Pro. Is that a mic? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm
like
sorry.
the Rodecaster. It's like neon colors. I have it over here. It's like I can't show the camera, but can't move the camera, but it's like
Yeah.
I mean it's what people are using in there, for like streaming and
Okay.
podcasts and things like that. But
Okay.
it's nice because it has built-in
Okay,
presets for
I'm
like
looking this
these.
up. I'm
Yeah,
looking
the
this up.
Rodecaster Pro, Rodecaster. Anyway, that's the audio one, but the video one is like the Videocaster or Pro Videocaster or something like
Oh,
that.
so it's like a whole ecosystem.
Yeah, so it's like the video switcher and the audio mixer mashed into one unit, and it's like this big. And one of the cool things about it, especially if you're into podcast producing, it auto switches. So it switches
Based on who's talking?
based on who's talking. It has that feature built in,
Hell
which is
yeah.
kind of nice. So, future reference, I might be looking at something like that
Nice.
to kind of like condense. I don't know
Nice.
what the interface looks like though. You know what I mean? Like what you actually the preview screen and camera angles and all that.
Sure.
I don't know what that interface looks like a whole lot. So I have to do a little bit more research, but it's only a 2 audio input, I believe, unless you're running another mixer to it. I think you can do a few more inputs, but
Nice.
I don't know. I'm interested in something like that.
I mean, you gotta do what works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really pumped to see your. I want to. Are you posting a tour on your YouTube channel?
Of this new place.
Yeah.
There's some things I want to finish up before I do a tour.
And the mural is somebody local that's painting that, right?
Yeah, he's a local artist, and basically, Eric and I commissioned a piece of art. I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. That was the most awkward way of saying that.
Well, I just wanted to make sure, you know, it's official. But I'm so pumped. It has like local town elements in it. It has like some like podcasting elements, video elements. It's gonna be
Nice.
sweet. And I'm so pumped for it to be in the space. And
Nice.
so one of the things, you know, speaking of networking and all that, one of the things I'm going to do is probably have monthly open houses that that people like, I'll have the lights on, cameras on, you know, people can come sit in on the sets and see themselves on camera and that type of thing. So there'll be different things like that I'll do too, that just try to get people in this space to see it and experience it and get them excited about coming in to record and pan.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's the main thing.
I mean, that is the main thing. Got to pay the bills, you know?
Yeah.
Like, got to pay the bills. Did you, I think I asked you this like last year, maybe even like 6 months ago. If you were yourself last year, would you see yourself being less of a freelance videographer, more of a studio owner?
No. Okay. So when I kind of rebranded to the Video Lab, I thought a lot of it would be more like online education stuff. Is kind of the direction I was going with it. And that's where a lot of my content was going is, you know, and my effort was going to that. But I kind of had it backwards. As soon as I moved into that other studio, it was like, oh, it was kind of like the switch, right? And I wasn't totally expecting to move into that studio a year ago. And I wasn't totally expecting to move into this studio a year later. So, couple like, it's kind of been a whirlwind the last year. But what I found, you're right for this. What I found is that actually I had it backwards. Actually, it's kind of starts with the studio and making content, and then that leads to other things like more content coaching opportunities. You know, like I'm meeting with somebody about their YouTube channel, and like all of a sudden, you know, like my YouTube channel isn't huge, but all of a sudden it's kind of like, well, you kind of become the YouTube expert in the area. You know what I mean?
Dude, yes.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I have thoughts, but I want you have numbers on your hand right there. So finish your numbers.
Let's see. Oh, so, and now another thing that has kind of led to is like helping other people design like office studios or home studios.
I may talk to you about that one too.
Yeah. That I didn't really think that was going to happen, but
you have a good design eye.
All of these things kind of like, you know, came about from actually going almost all in on the studio piece of it, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
And then let's not forget some of the bigger productions too that that we're still doing, which is kind of cut back a little bit. And I've even turned some down, like some pretty hefty projects I've turned down because I wanted to focus in on the studio piece.
Your freelance projects.
Yeah, just like regular, you know, traditional production projects. Yeah. Like I've turned a couple of those down
to focus on the studio.
And focus in on the studio and kind of get it running. And so, I mean, my goal is to probably bring somebody on staff that then can like build those bigger productions back up, you know?
I can move to Sioux Falls.
Hey, open invitation. You can stay on our screen porch. Our house is so small, there's not necessarily a ton of space in there, but you can have a couch. We can pitch a tent.
When are you going to come let me make a documentary about your story, Caleb?
My story? It's not that great.
It's a story.
It is.
Don't you know of all people, every story is interesting in some way.
True. Yeah, that is true. I'll give you that.
So I gotta come. You're gonna hire me to come to your brand videos.
That's let's do it. Hire you right now.
Yeah.
I'll hire you right now. Come out here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm coming.
Bring the family. Stay a while.
Stay a while. We'll stay until you hire us full time. Just don't tell Jess.
Erica says
do it. There was something I was going to ask you. No, it was a random thought. It's okay. So we don't have big channels in the grand scheme of things.
Correct.
Right. Like we're in the top 2%. That's, you know, it is what it is.
It is.
It is shocking how much we take for granted knowledge wise.
Yeah.
Like
Under.
so the editing, the company I'm editing for right now, they're a subscriber base of 600, just 600, not
Yep.
1,000, just 600. They just have some financial backing. They're a couple of pseudo famous people,
Okay.
and they're just trying to get like some content out. So they've hired a shooter, editor, and I'm one of the editors. But I went to the guy that hired me, and I was like, "Hey, can we do different titles?
Yeah. Right.
Like, these aren't gonna work."
Yeah. Wait, are you saying one step closer to the edge I'm about to break isn't going to work?
I mean, definitely not, but we knew that. Like, there's a difference in we know it's not going to work versus you don't know it's not going to work.
One step closer to the edge I'm about to break. Final. Final.
If we had, is it final?
I don't think so. Underscore final. Underscore final two.
But like to that point, if we had remotely named this, like,
Oh yeah.
how to get clients as a new videographer, photographer, we
Maybe-
maybe have more than one stranger watching the stream.
Hey, maybe you should go in and just SEO that thing up.
I'm leaving it. We know this. But no, so I was just like, hey, you're not going to get any views doing it this way. And I've been doing YouTube for 7 years. Like, I'm not great at it, but I know what is definitely not going to work,
Yeah.
and this is it.
Yeah.
And I, say it more lovingly and things like that. But like we are experts in some
Yeah.
way to
Totally.
this platform.
Yeah. Somebody's paying me for YouTube consultation because they see me as the expert in it.
Yep.
And that's like, I'm more than happy to share, you know what I mean? Like, from what I know, and I try to coach people on content. And so like I do some research about YouTube and things like that, and try to put it into practice. try.
The consistency is
That
the
consistency
thing.
is a big piece of it, like a very big slice of the pie.
Dude, you have things going on in your life.
And right now, I'm not getting videos out.
It's not about quantity of views, it's the quality.
Yeah, the quality of the views specifically. Like,
Yes.
who is watching? Are the right people watching?
That's fair.
That's the most important thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I took that differently. I took that in a sarcastic tone.
She might.
It's not.
She
That's
might
not
have
quality. It's not quantity. This video's gotten 5 views,
Yeah.
but those all stayed.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's true. That's very much true.
Yeah.
But anyways, dude. Okay, so we've had some good discussion. It is an hour and 15 minutes in. I'm sure you're tired.
We stayed on topic. I'm proud of us for staying on topic.
Maybe we should think about actually having topics.
Maybe we should.
I don't. You know what didn't work, and I stand corrected.
What's this?
My thumbnail idea. Remember
Oh.
how I had us do thumbnails in the last episode, and you were like, "It's in 720p. This is not gonna." You were right.
Yeah.
It did not work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah. So we need to.
Well, we might need to shoot some open gate to get some thumbnails and send each other. Or no, I'll send you a file.
Yeah.
Some
Send me a file.
podcast faces.
Some. Oh man. All right, Caleb. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No, it was a good combo. I'm glad we had it. And sorry for being a bad friend.
Dude, you're not a bad friend. You have things in life going on. It happens. It happens.
I'm ready to get back into a rhythm.
Yeah. And if you don't, we'll be here in like 2 months. I don't think it's been 2 months. I think it's only been a month.
Yeah.
But we'll be here.
Yeah.
If you are watching this after the fact, please let us know any questions you have. Caleb is a seasoned freelance videographer at this point. I'm kind of, getting my feet wet but there's still a lot that I'm learning along the process, and so you can kind of get it from different angles. So definitely let us know in the comments below if you have any additional questions, or I'm sure you can probably reach out to any of us on Instagram, and definitely chat. As real.
Just jumped in. Hey, we just congratulated.
We
you
just
as your
congratulated.
100
It's like
100
if the
subs.
tree falls in the forest and doesn't make
Yeah.
a nope. That's not what that saying is.
Yeah, I mean, you almost nailed that. Not sure exactly what it was, but you almost nailed it.
Congrats on 100 subs, buddy.
Yeah, get it. Get it.
Get it. But yes. So if you do have questions, let us know in the comments. And then subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
We try to be consistent like every other week, but sometimes we just got studios to put together. And I had projects. I wasn't mad that we weren't streaming. Like I wasn't like, Caleb, I want to stream this week.
Jeez.
I had things going on too. So we all have things going on, but we're back here. And you almost nailed that. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. We'll be here.
Cool.
Thank you guys all for joining.
Yeah. Later.
Peace.